Course in Miracles number 97, and this time we're talking about experiencing peace through God's love. Last time I read from a lesson and it helped recap some of the other messages I did, meaning a lesson from the actual Course in Miracles. And one of the things I talked about earlier was choosing God, but I touched on this last time, but choosing God can be hard for people because people think God is a God of wrath, or God must not care because this world's so much of a mess. Or I tried to choose God's love, but somebody else who said they loved God, like they hurt me. So then they must be like God, and that's not good. I could go through a list of things, of reasons why people don't choose God. And right now, you might be taking a moment to think of reasons why you don't choose God. And some of them can be conscious, some could be unconscious. Now, one of the reasons that I mentioned earlier is in other messages is many different religions teach God differently. Some people have different words for God. Course in Miracles, God is a personal God. God is a God of all love, all forgiveness. There's no wrath. There's only love. But it's a personal God. It's not like this kind of metaphorical God, personal God that's available, more available with access through the Holy Spirit. But in general, God of love, God that we have access to, personal God, Holy Spirit is sent as a gift. So it's a very in line with biblical teachings, but not Old Testament God of wrath teachings. And people just, what I was saying in the learning video I did a few days ago that I posted, people just haven't learned enough on their own to make a good enough decision about what can actually bring you peace. So the world gives us all the messages, all the advertisements, all the TV shows you watch, and we think that's going to make my life better. Maybe some people go to church weekly. Maybe some people are in a small group. Maybe some people do a daily study. But if you've done none of that, you are not in a position to know what it is like to experience peace through God's love. You're just not. However, in an instant, like my reading I did the other day, in an instant, you have access. It is at your fingertips. So God's love is everlasting. It's eternal. It's not judging you. It's not a God of wrath. It's not even like, and I don't necessarily disagree with teachings of obedience, that you obey God. But then when we do that, there is we screwed up and we lost God's love type of thing. That is the Course in Miracles. It's a mistake. It's an error. And he immediately welcomes you home, almost like the prodigal son story in a way. So that's the love. And that's a miracle love because, boy, you probably messed up yesterday or day before or whatever. And no, that was an error. That's a mistake. Still love you. And I want to move you and welcome you back into the heavenly mindset. And you might be like, I've never been to that mindset. And who teaches on the mindset? There are people that teach on that. And I don't necessarily say I teach on that, but my work as somebody who's a student, who's also trying to teach the Course in Miracles, is get to that heavenly mindset. And most helpful to that is realize when you make a mistake, when you fall, that God hasn't cast you out and you have to do some extra good works to get back in. When you get into the heart, the mindset, the space that love is inside you and you want to give it out to you, I do think you make better choices. You don't make perfect choices. You're not gonna have zero errors at first, but you start to think differently, and your decisions, your responses are more patient, are more peaceful, are more loving. But you have to practice it. So almost all these videos I'm telling people to practice it. You can only practice what you know or what somebody's told you to practice. So how do you practice experiencing peace through the love of God if you think God is trying to, get you if you're screwing up? I don't know. That worked for a while for some people. What also works is like, I just want to be that person that I'm created in the image of God, so I could share that in a way that makes other people feel more loved. So that'd be one way to practice it. That's sort of the way I'm practicing it. Does have to sometimes cause me to step back, bite my tongue. It's not like I have a habit of not doing that. So now it's a practice of doing it another way. So I think the first thing would be to choose once again, going back to choosing once again, and choosing, like somebody told you right now, this video, that God is a personal God who loves you, and you're not a sinner. You made an error, you made a mistake, and I'm right here to love you, and you're not out of the kingdom. We welcome you back right now instantly. And choose once again, though. So you would choose truth. Kind of, if you go back to my last video, that quick reading I did in the lesson, you would choose to not be in exile and choose God, which is going back to the previous message the previous message, the three messages go on learning, and then you'd have to teach, and you can really only teach yourself. So that was another previous video. So these do tie together. More in a conversational approach today, without anybody to have a conversation with, other than you are loved by God, not looking to condemn you, not looking to judge you. And when there is a final judgment, it is you are loved and you're forgiven, and you're loved and you're forgiven, and that's the answer. So that's what you can give out to everybody else too. So choose again to